Hi, it's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine. Thanks so much for tuning in this morning, whether you're going to join me live here in a minute or catch the replay. I am super excited about the project today. I am going to be teaching you the faux stained glass technique, and I'm actually doing a double dip. I am playing in a creative challenge. So the card I designed for my project today was based on a photo of a painting, and it's sunflowers and real texture. It's a whole bunch of sunflowers in like a blue vase with a whole bunch of texture background. So I took two things away from that photo of that painting, sunflowers and texture. So hopefully I do the painting justice. And some of you may have just picked up this stamp set. It was on sale last week as part of the seasonal sale. So stamp sets, this is from the Celebrate Sunflowers from the 2022-2023 annual catalog. And I so love this stamp set. It's actually been around for a little bit. So I picked this stamp set, and it's partly because it says let's celebrate you. It's my birthday week this week. So I wanted to make something with kind of celebrate or birthday related. And then these are the dies that coordinate. So the stamps they're 8 cling red rubber stamps, and then the sunflowers dies coordinate, and there's 9 dies in the set. So I kept my card super simple, but as I talk, I'm gonna give you a few suggestions on how you can step it up. So this is what my card came out like. I am like so happy because it's kind of sort of elegant and rustic and pretty. And let me tell you, it's super cold here in Massachusetts today, and I needed something to kind of like brighten my day up. Woo, it's chilly. So let me point my camera down at the station, and I will jump right in a minute while I just get myself situated here. So welcome. Good morning, Elaine. Good morning, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I popped up, but I might need a minute to pop up, so let me talk for a second. Again, I'm using the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. And if you have the annual catalog, this is on page 35. And then the coordinating sunflowers dies. So, and then here's my card. Let me see if I seem to be having an issue with myself popping up. So let me go into my page and hopefully I am there. Oh, there I am. I just saw myself and then I clicked something else. So here I am. Okay, perfect. So let's jump right in. I'm actually going to do the stamping first, and I just used 2 inks. Oh my gosh, I can hear my volume. So hold on 1 second while I mute myself on my computer. Sorry about that. That's distracting to me as I'm trying to do this. So, okay, now I'm ready to roll. So I'm going to do the sentiment first, and it's just a piece of basic white. So this is really simple. Obviously, you can step it up. I am going to be heat embossing in white. So you could do like a black or a darker color for your sentiment. And the great thing about this stamp set is you have 2 choices. If you don't want to do like a celebrate for a birthday or a congratulations, you could do thanks a bunch. So this is just a 3 1/4 by 3/4 inch of basic white. And actually, I'm going to bring over a Post-it note just because my my greeting is going to probably go off a little bit, and I don't want to get ink on my table, although I could clean it up after. So good morning, Bonnie. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so let's do the sentiment. And there's obviously a couple different fonts going on here. So I wanted the L and the B in Celebrate to be on my piece of white, but I didn't really care about the Y and U being on. So I kind of put my piece straight, and I want my lets to kind of be in the middle of the white. I hope that makes sense. And then if I'm crooked, I could always, you know, tilt a little bit, but actually that came out not so bad. And actually almost, this is at the tippity top and the Y is kind of at the tippity bottom, so that worked out well. Let's get rid of the crumb cake. That was crumb cake ink. And then let's do the sunflower. So what I did is I just measured the large die in the sunflower because I cut it out. And I'm just going to leave my Post-it note there for coloring with the blends. But I have a 4x4 piece of Vellum Cardstock. And I am going to ink up my large sunflower with Versa Mark ink. Okay, because I'm going to be heat embossing this. So I want to get this nice and juicy. It's a larger stamp, so I like to do upside down and bring my ink pad to the stamp for this. So super juicy. You know, a tip with this stamp is sometimes it's like, where's the top and where's the bottom and how does it line up with the dies? Well, what I do is I look at the case of the stamp set, the DVD case that the stamp came in. So this is kind of the orientation. So I try to look at that with my stamp and figure out what's the top and what's the bottom, just for a tip for lining things up. So that's gonna get this stuff out of the way. And then we're gonna heat it up. So let me bring over, and I didn't do the embossing buddy, but you probably could. On the vellum, to me it's not that big of an issue because I'm gonna cut it out, but let me heat it up. So I'm gonna bring over my caddy. I wanna be very careful with this and only touch it from the corners. I'm gonna bring over my little caddy. Whoops, my Post-it note's going for a ride. And then I'm going to bring over white, and I'm just going to look at my case to make sure it's white because the white and the clear both have similar tops. So I always say that to double check. I'm going to pour my white embossing powder in. I'm going to actually cover this up, and I'll funnel it back in. So this caddy is really great. It's in the Embossing Additions kit. It's got the caddy. Oh my gosh, I just like totally forgot what this is called. Wow. Anyways, a little brush, the little embossing buddy, and then the tweezers. And the tweezers don't really work well with the vellum because it's so thin. So I'm just going to carefully try to pick this up from a corner and try to not get embossing powder all over myself. I have 2 sweaters on, you guys. My computer said, oh, my computer lost its temperature, but it was like 30, but it felt like, or 33, but it felt like 25 because it's kind of windy. So I'm just going to try to tap off the excess. And then, yeah, see, I probably could have definitely used the embossing buddy here because I have some specks around, but I just went ahead and got overzealous and did my stamping. So now I'm going to heat this up. So I'm going to get the caddy out of the way. So what I was saying about the funnel is you'll take the end off and then you can funnel it back into the cap. So I'll just do that after I'm done here. And sorry, my Post-it note keeps going for a ride. Let me just get that out of the way and I'll deal with it later. Okay, so I am just going to hold from the corners while I heat this up with my heat tool. So it's going to get loud for about 30 seconds, but this is such a wow with heat embossing on the vellum. Hopefully you'll be able to see as I go. So it's starting to heat up. So super quick and simple, and it's such a pretty wow, let me tell you. So I did one earlier, and I went ahead and cut it out with the coordinating die. So this is where I need the Post-it note. I am going to bring the Post-it note back over. I'm flipping this over, okay? And this is where I'm going to color. So I am going to color with 3 colors of Stampin' Blends. Hey, good morning, Linda. Thanks for tuning in. You may need to do more heat embossing. Yes. You know what? I did not do a lot of heat embossing. I am going to do a confession here. And then when I saw the current July to December 2022 mini catalog, it had the new embossing editions kit in it. And I was like, you know what? Then I'll have the caddy and this buddy thing, or powder pal. The powder pal, I think, is the caddy. But anyways, you know, guys know what I'm talking about. It had all these little things in it. So I was like, you know what? Now I'm going to do more heat embossing. And it's such a pretty wow. So I'll have a close-up picture on my blog at christinestamps.blogspot.com. I'm just using the Post-it as like my scrap paper. So I keep saying Post-it. I want you guys to know what I'm doing with it. But I have 3 colors of blends, and you know what? I have the dark daffodil, the light pumpkin pie, and then the dark crumb cake. So I'm going to start with daffodil, and I'm just going to go around the leaves. And you know what I'm going to do is just kind of go around the center to try to figure out where I want it yellow and where I want it brown, and kind of just give myself a guide. And then I'm going to try to do that on the edges really quick too, because then I can kind of scribble. And you can see my hair, I'm sorry. But just scribble some yellow on here, Daffodil Delight. You could probably use Mango Melody too. I'm using the Hues of Happiness as my designer series paper, and it kind of has different colors in it. That's where I did the texture. Oh, there goes my heat tool. Hopefully I don't set the house on fire. Luckily it's off. It's plugged in, but it's off. But it would be good if I didn't set the house on fire during my Facebook Live. I shouldn't laugh. That's really not funny. Okay. The heat actually went on for the first time in my whole house this morning. It was so cold. It was 58. That's way too cold. But we have a gas fireplace, so we've been using the fireplace this week. And honestly, I get sun on one side of my house during the day. So if it's a sunny day, the downstairs really heats up nicely. So look I am scribbling. This is really messy. And this is exactly how I made this card. So, okay, so I got all my yellow. Whoops, make sure your covers stay on so your blends don't dry out. So there's a tip with Stampin' Blends. And then I'm actually using the skinny sides. So you'll see there's kind of like a fatter line and a skinnier line. I'm using the skinnier ends to do this. And then literally I'm just going to scribble to get my orange, my pumpkin pie. Ooh, who's having pumpkin pie this Thursday? I didn't even think of that when I used this color. Happy early Thanksgiving. It happens to be my birthday this year, so kind of a little bit of a bummer with a birthday being on a major holiday, but I'm just going to celebrate the whole week. Okay, so as much or little orange as you want for the pumpkin pie, and then the middle, I'm going to do some crumb cake. And you have a couple options. On my card, I layered this onto a piece of designer series paper that's got yellows on it. So I'm going to let it dry a little bit while I adhere my layers. But I'm going to show you what it looks like against the white card base and against the designer series paper. So, pretty cool. When you flip over, you get this really pretty subtle kind of yellow and orange with the crumb cake in the middle stained glass effect. So I'm just going to put this aside to dry for a minute and we'll do the layers. So the rest of this card is super simple. It's basic white thick card base and just a half of a 8.5 by 11. So 5.5 by 8.5, and then score in half at 4 1/4, and get a nice crisp score there. I'm going to layer on a piece of the distressed gold. And I actually have a tip if you wanted to step this up a little bit. I was going to do this morning. I designed this card yesterday, so this morning I was thinking about doing this. But the dies that coordinate have these pretty stems in them. So if you wanted to add a little bit more and step this up, you could cut a couple stems out of the distressed gold. You could actually use this piece because we're going to cover most of it up. So this is 3 3¾ by 5. I don't know if I said that. So, and then super simple. We're just going to go to the card base and then layer on. Oops, I got to fix that after. Layer on a piece of the designer series paper from the Hues of Happiness. This is the other side of that. So, whoop, it really hits you in the eyeballs. I am going to use the yellow sides, and I kind of want the darker yellow and on the left and go like dark to light, but honestly, however you cut the paper, it works. But this is where I brought in the texture, right? The painting that I'm referencing. It's on my Facebook page, Create with Christine on Facebook. So I put a picture of the painting. And like I said, it was texture and sunflowers that I took away from it. So there is a lot of texture in the distressed gold as well. And then I'm ready to just kind of layer up my sunflower. And, ooh, I showed you what it's kind of going to look like against the yellows. It kind of makes it a more yellow look. This is what it looks like against white. So you get more of the stained glass. Kind of and more of the yellow and the orange is coming through. So just to give you a couple ideas, if you wanted to try this technique, you can use any line art image. So I kind of want to line it up where I want it and then get my sentiment that I stamped and figure out where I'm kind of get these where I want them, maybe about there. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of Seal Plus adhesive. You know what? I'm going to put it on here by the Let's. And let me grab my adhesive. So if you follow me, I like Seal Plus adhesive for my Basic White and my Very Vanilla. So maybe about there. And then it kind of hangs off the side a little bit. So perfect. And then what I'm going to do is flip this over and I can put more Basic White, more Seal Plus adhesive on the rest of the kind of banner piece. And you know what? I can put some Seal Plus adhesive maybe like up here because there's a lot of white with the heat embossing here. And you're really not going to see it through, let's see, let me see if I can line this up where I had it about, just go for it. And at some point, just commit and glue the whole part down. So you can totally put a little bit more adhesive where you have a lot of area that will be kind of covered up by the embossing. So you won't see the adhesive through is what I'm trying to say. Whew, I can't get my words out this morning at all. So anyways, it's got to be the cold. So I'm right near a window, but I'm actually hoping to kind of relocate where I kind of do my lives in my space coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. I did a linen bow. I did a linen thread double bow. So I took a 15-inch piece of linen thread and just did a quick, simple double bow. And I'm just going to put this down under the Let's. Just like so. You'll have to cut your tails off a little bit. I did, it's quite, yeah, I think this was 15 inches. So quite a large piece, but that's okay. Okay, perfect. And then just to finish this off, I brought over a couple of the gold festive pearls. I use these a lot. These are so pretty. So I'm just going to pick up a couple with my Take Your Pick tool here. So I'm going to put like one down here in the corner and then two more if I can pick them up. Whew. Two more up kind of towards the top. So, but like I said, you could totally embellish more and do a couple of those stems with the distressed gold, and you wouldn't even have to use more of the distressed gold because you could cut them out from the background, the 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece. So I hope you try this technique with any of your line art stamps, and you could totally do your heat embossing in a different color. So in the basics, you get a white, a clear, and a black. So you totally could do the heat embossing in black if you really wanted it to pop out. You know, in some weird way, it depends what you're doing for colors and backgrounds, but the white really works with this and just makes me happy. So, like I said, this was part of a creative challenge for our team meeting. It's at 3 o'clock Eastern today. So if you are watching and you're like me and you're going to be home, although I am going out Christmas shopping for a few hours, I'll be back at 3. If you want to hop on Zoom and be my guest to the meeting today, we're on for about an hour and a half, and you get to learn what a team meeting is all about on our team. And we do stamping, we have like creative challenges, we just kind of do chatting about what's coming out in the future with Stampin' Up! Products, and it's a real fun time. So please message me if you want the link to join as my guest for our team meeting today. This Tuesday, November 22nd, I will have a card on my blog for Casing Tuesday, so make sure to look for that on my blog at christinestamps.blogspot.com. And next week, next Sunday, the 27th, I'm going to be doing 3 paper pumpkin alternatives to the November 2022 kit. So you can always find me live Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern on my Facebook page at Create with Christine. And let me bring my camera back up at my face to just sign off this morning. Oh, hey, Robin. Thanks for tuning in. Linda says, lovely card. Thank you so much, Linda. I just want to say I am so grateful and thankful for everybody. It's Thanksgiving and this week, and I wanted to say happy Thanksgiving, but I also just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to those that placed orders, part of my seasonal sale last week. Your candy cane class will be going out in the mail this week. But thank you to everybody else. I know some of you are demos watching, and you just watch for my ideas and my techniques. Some of you purchased my PDFs, which I am super thankful and grateful for. Some of you want my class ideas and buy the whole class. Come to my classes live. Some of you are Paper Pumpkin subscribers. So I just want to say thank you. And everybody, even you might not think that you mean that much to me, but just that watching every week or commenting, catching the replays if you can't even watch live, it matters to me. And it keeps me going and to do this every week. So next week is going to be paper pumpkin alternatives. And then I am going to have to tweak my schedule a little bit for December and January. So I will go over that next week to just tell you. Unfortunately, some of the holidays fall on Sunday, and I will not be doing this live on Christmas Day or on New Year's Day. So I'll talk about the tweaks to my schedule and actually talk about something else exciting I'm going to do the first week of December. I'm going to do a whole week. I'm going to do 5 projects the beginning of December, so you'll have chances to make them for holiday gifts. So stay tuned for all those details, and if you try this technique, I would love to see it. So thank you, Kathy. She's going to try it. So please share, tag me on Facebook, or send me a private message if you try the technique. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great week.